Hello, my name is Wesley Cole Parlier, and I'm doing the Atlantic Sturgeon for my Vertebrate Natural History FW 373 course at North Carolina State University. Hello, my name is Wesley Cole Parlier, and I'm doing the Atlantic Sturgeon for my final video project for Vertebrate Natural History FW 373 at North Carolina State University. Now, I wanted to kind of give you an idea of where the sturgeon is taxonomically, class, subclass, that kind of thing. So the Atlantic sturgeon, its class is Octonopterygii. Oh, geez. Subclass Chondroste. Oh, stop, I'm going to stop. Order Accipensiformes and family Accipensidae. And its scientific name and specific epithet is Accipenser oxyrhynchus. Now, to begin, I thought we would start. Now, in order to ID a fully grown adult sturgeon, this is what they look like. They're pretty wild. They're very primitive fish. Haven't changed in millions of years. So, living dinosaurs. Very awesome. Very cool fish. They're pretty easy to ID because of that pretty noticeable line of scutes on the top of its spine. And scutes are just modified scales. And there's the denticles on the side, which are a type of scales similar to what sharks have. But sharks' denticles are much, much smaller and closely more packed together. And as you can see, it has a caudal fin, anal fin, pelvic fin, pectoral fin. It also has a protrusible mouth, which means it's just able to extend the jaw. It is a bottom feeder, so as you can imagine, it does pretty much spend all day with its mouth on the floor. And it has those barbels because it does prefer kind of brackish water, and those are helpful with prey detection, chemodetection, just getting through their surroundings, whatnot. Now, this is what an Atlantic sturgeon looks like. Now, the life history of the sturgeon is pretty interesting. As you can see, this picture on the right shows that the range of the sturgeon goes all the way up from the coast of Maine, all the way down past the coast of Georgia, into tributaries and rivers into Florida. That's a pretty impressive natural home range. Now, when females go to spawn, they return to the river in which they were spawned. And they like to spawn in fresh water. And when they spawn, they rub their stomachs onto the bottom of the river, stream, tributary, what have you. And it pushes the eggs out of their ovaries. And they have a kind of adhesive, so they stick to the substrate. That be gravel, clay, hard clay, they like that. Anything that'll stick to like that. And then the males come in and release their milk all over the eggs in the water column, and they get fertilized. And then they hatch anywhere from 90 to like 140 hours later. So, and then once they hatch, they feed on little tiny crustaceans in the water until they grow a couple inches long, and then they become their true self and become the bottom feeder that they are. And then they stay in the river in which they were spawned for anywhere from 1 to 4 years, depending on the individual and the spawning grounds, their food supply, water quality, all that comes into play. But once they leave, they return to the coast, to salt water, good old salt water, to which they remain a bottom feeder. And they can live up to 80 years, and they can weigh up to 800 pounds, which is pretty impressive, pretty wild. All right, now we're going to talk about the life history of the sturgeon, kind of where it comes from and where it goes. Now, I just wanted to point out just a few relevant behaviors of the sturgeon. On the top left picture isn't exactly a behavior. It just shows how kind of big they can get. That's not anywhere near the largest a sturgeon can become, but it does show kind of the scale when you put two people there, just how large and kind of prehistoric they look. In the top right, there's a picture of one jumping out of the water. They are known to do that, whether that be for insects. That's what I think it might. I mean, I'm not particularly sure, but that's what I would imagine. The bottom left kind of shows their preference of habitat. They want that substrate. You know, they're a bottom feeder. They're going to typically be down there. Brackish water, either fresh or brackish water. They love it. Um, and then the bottom right shows kind of the process in which researchers obtain eggs from sturgeon. They kind of mimic the process of the females rubbing their stomachs over the bottom of the riverbed, just by pushing their hands on their stomachs and literally just pushing the eggs out. It's as simple as that. Obviously, you can see them collecting in the giant bowl they have there. So now, and these are my sources. So appreciate you watching. Appreciate you listening. Again, my name is Cole Parlier, and this is for Vertebrate Natural History, FW 373 at North Carolina State University. And these are my sources. So